Without further ado, I would love to introduce you all to the cast and producers of Outlander Season 7. Please welcome to the Empire stage, Caitriona Balfe, Sam Heughan, Sophie Skelton, Richard Rankin, John Bell, Maril Davis, woo! And Diana Gabaldon.
Diana! Diana. Please.
I think we might need one more. I'll stand. You guys sit for now. I'll stand.
We're good. We don't stand in ceremony here. Please take a seat.
We've got one. We've got
We got
one.
one.
We've got this.
Good. Oh, good. Oh, good.
Don't
It's fine.
panic.
We're fine. We're fine.
Nothing to see here.
There you go.
sit
Okay.
there.
Everyone
I'll
has
sit.
a seat.
All right.
We go.
See how
Okay.
good we are at adapting in times of danger.
How are you all feeling tonight?
Good.
Hi.
Incredible.
Hello.
Yeah, this is
Yes.
amazing. Hello, everyone.
Did you like the trailer?
All right, I'm going to start with this. Maril, this one is for you. It has been a particularly long Droughtlander, as we call it. What can you tell us about what we just watched?
I mean, you saw it on the screen. It's such an emotional roller coaster, this second half of season 7. And I mean, death, loss, redemption. I mean, everything is in the second half. It's such an amazing second half. It's even better than the first. I can't wait for people to see it.
Yeah.
For the cast, could each of you maybe give me a word or perhaps a sentence that can sort of sum up your upcoming character arc in 7B?
Character arc. What is that again?
Gosh, that's
God.
that's a tough question. First up.
Yeah.
Well,
Revenge.
Oh, okay.
confused.
Mama Bear.
Unexpected.
Adorable.
Iconic.
Diana, as the creator of this beloved franchise, how are you feeling about suddenly, finally getting to 7B, finally seeing it on screens?
I'd say it's about time. Yeah, no, you guys are going to like it. Absolutely. It's as good or better than the first half. And it's in Scotland, which always helps. So
For those of you who got to make the grand return to Scotland, at least on the screen, tell us a little bit about that homecoming and what filming that homecoming was like.
Yeah, look, Scotland has been a firm favorite of ours as actors, but also the characters returning home. Jamie and Claire and young Ian returning home. Finally, Jamie fulfills his promise to take Ian back to his family, to Jenny. You guys are going to be so excited. You saw there's some returning characters as well, some friends, some frenemies. Yeah, it was so nice. And to be honest, even going back to Lallybroch, which is Midhope Castle, we were there years ago. It's where we started our journey. Jamie and Claire started theirs, where they first said they loved each other. To be back in the Laird's chamber was
pretty special.
Really special, yeah. And bittersweet as well, because I hate to take it down, but there's also a lot of grief and goodbyes this season.
A few.
There's a few, but don't...
Some goodbyes, but some hellos too.
Yes.
We balance it out.
Yes.
Maril, which episode would you say, or if you could predict, might be the most talked about after it airs?
Probably 11. I mean, I think 11, bring your whiskey, your tissues. It's pretty intense, so I think that's one that will be talked about in many ways.
So it's been 10 years. Congratulations to you all on those 10 years. I'm curious for each of you, when you signed on for this project at your various points, did you have any idea what you were getting yourselves into?
Not the slightest.
Yeah, actually 11 years for us, right? And I think we didn't know anything, forgive us, about the books. We were naive, and we were really green going into it. And I think we both thought it would only last a season or two. And 11 years later, eight seasons, 101 episodes. We are so thankful, and thankful that the fans, you guys have been with us on this incredible journey.
Well said.
Thank you.
Caitriona, Sam, you guys have been working together for a while now. I'm curious about how you have addressed the particular challenge of yourselves growing with these characters, but then of course playing these characters over quite a range of time. You're playing them as young, you're playing them as older. What's sort of the secret to retaining their essence, so to speak, while being in so many different times and places and states in their life?
I feel like the question is, what's it like getting old?
Sure.
You know, I think, look, we've both spoken about this. I think, our friendship and our working partnership has been really special and really important to us. We made a pact at the very beginning that we would sort of always have each other's backs, and I think we've stuck to that. But it's been such an honor to be able to play characters and watch them grow and be able to build a life with them. You know, every time you do a scene, it's a memory. Every time you get to play them, you're sort of filling that memory bank. And as an actor, that sort of character just grows inside you. And, I think we always try and make sure that we connect and talk about what the scenes are and make sure that we feel like they're authentically Claire and Jamie, and our writers do the same. And it's just been such a privilege to do it for this long.
Sophie and Richard, what about the two of you? What can you tell us about how you have progressed along with your characters, and also the sort of particular juncture that we find them in their relationship in 7B, especially as they're now getting pulled apart?
Well, I think we were arguably a tad luckier than these guys in that we kind of knew what we were getting ourselves in for, and so we also had a bit of luxury of time. And so I know that I read the first few books before we auditioned, because we actually interestingly auditioned for season 1 and then didn't hear for a year. And then you guys decided to bring them in, and I was being a little brat, and I remember some of my family were watching Outlander, and I was like, no, I don't want to find out who got Brianna, I really wanted that role. So anyway, read the books and kind of knew that she had this beautiful progression as a character. And so obviously she starts quite young, and I see her, she matures, and I always say she's like an onion. You kind of peel these layers as we go season by season, and where we see them this season, I think they've really come into their element as individuals and as a team. I think one thing this show does beautifully is show different types of relationships, whether that's family, mother-daughter, like couples, and I think Roger and Brianna have a very different relationship to Jamie and Claire, and so it's really good to get that sort of, I guess, like geeky, realistic, nerdy, bad at communicating difference in a relationship. And so this season, I think that they've grown individually and together, so we pick up at a great place in part 2.
I agree.
If Brianna is the onion, does that make you the carrot?
I'm a carrot. Yeah, we're just a couple of vegetables, cutting about. No. I remember Outlander arriving to Scotland with such an impact. Everyone was talking about it. They were setting up the studios in Cumbernauld, which is halfway between Glasgow and Edinburgh. And there was such a buzz. I mean, I have a kind of a limited amount of crew in Scotland. Outlander basically took all of them and employed them on the show. So people were talking about it. They were asking you, "Are you meeting for it? Has anyone seen you for it?" And I was like, "No, not yet." But then I started to get some auditions through. I'd actually auditioned for 4 parts before Roger.
Who?
We won't go into that. It's not the question. We won't go into that just now.
Who did you audition for?
I'll tell you what
ask
I did have. I remember looking back in my emails and having an audition, and it was just titled, well, Outlander, and the character brief was Jamie Fraser.
Ooh.
I can't remember if I ever actually auditioned for it. I might have read it and thought.
This is now your opportunity. Come on, we want to see
You want me to give you a bit of
Get up.
Sassenach?
There you go.
No, I just need no. But yeah, I remember when we arrived on the show, it was kind of like we were filming a different TV show because we were completely segregated for the rest of the cast because we were obviously in the 60s when Claire comes back at the end of season 2. But yeah, it wasn't until season 4 that we actually got united with the rest of the cast, which was great. So it was
Right, so I'm not part of the rest of the cast?
Huh?
But I do remember passing you guys in the studio, and obviously I think you two were bloodied up in like your 17th century stuff, and we were in the 60s stuff, all clean and shiny and excited and new. And so you guys were like, we're gonna get our revenge, and you snuck into our Easy Up, which is like the tent that you stay in between scenes, and you stole all of our snacks.
That's right.
And you left one carrot stick and one stick of cucumber, and you put a note next to it with an arrow and put, for the kids.
Yeah, but
That's right.
they left us some hummus as well.
Was there some hummus?
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of you.
A little protein. John, for you, what has it been like, growing with young Ian and especially the journey that he has been on? It's a character that identifies with multiple cultures, has had a lot of homes. Clearly a fan favorite.
It's been the journey of a lifetime. I mean, I joined this cast and I was the baby. I was the little baby.
You're still the baby.
I'm still
He's
the
not.
No,
It's
no,
Charles.
I'm the man. So yeah, to kind of have these formative years on set with these guys, to be able to look back and see these moments, it's super special. When I first got the part of young Ian, I didn't really know the extent of his story. So each season was a new surprise for me of like, what was he going to get up to next? And to be able to, be a part of the Mohawk Nation and tell their stories and be a part of that story was like the biggest privilege of my life. Yeah, it was great.
Do you think you'll ever not be young Ian and just Ian? Maril says no.
I think I always have to keep the young Ian, right?
Yeah, it's your name.
That's it, yeah.
I remember there was a concerted effort to have our characters at one point not call him young Ian because he'd become a man now. And it just lasted maybe a day. And then we're like, no, he's young Ian.
Doesn't feel right.
No.
I was fortunate enough to go to Scotland this summer and see some of the season 8 sets, and that was an extraordinary experience. Maril, without getting into any spoilers, what can you tell us about what is to come after 7B?
I mean, it's so hard to talk about 8 because it was such a tough season in so many ways, just because we all knew it was the end. And so I feel like the season was a little bittersweet just because, and I'm guilty of this, I kept saying, oh, this is the last time we're going to have a production meeting. And but I think this season is just kind of a celebration of our characters and trying to hit some of the high points and end it on a note that hopefully people are satisfied with. But I feel like it's impossible to satisfy everyone because the show's not going to go on, and I think there's a sadness with that. So I don't know, this season had a vibe to it that it felt like we were all trying to cling on to the last ending. So it feels hard to talk about it at this point because it's so close still.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but at Paley Fest you said that not everyone on this stage had seen every part of the finale script.
Some people have seen it, but Matt Roberts, our showrunner, purposely didn't want, and it wasn't just the actors, they didn't want everyone to get our normal distribution, and so we did not put out the full script to everyone. Still to this day, not everyone has seen it. We're not telling people the ending. He hasn't decided the ending. We purposely are doing that because there are leaks, not these people, but people talk, and we're just trying to preserve it.
We'll tell you, don't worry. We're going to.
Yeah. They'll tell you after.
Diana, did you have, knowledge of how the series would end beforehand?
Yes.
We did talk to Diana about it because we were very careful. We didn't want to step on her toes. There is another book. So we're ending it the way we are. We just wanted to be respectful of not ending it the way maybe she would.
How did it feel?
I'm sorry?
How did knowing the ending, which is different than what you are going to do, what was that like for you experiencing?
Oh, it was interesting. For one thing, I was not upset by it, which,
good.
Otherwise, not telling you anything, but yeah. No, it was possible for me to look at this as it was not something I wrote, so I'm very objective about it. Yeah, it was well done. I think it will work very nicely.
Good, amazing. How was it like for each of you in the cast, drawing filming to a close and coming to an end of this very long and very important journey in all of your lives? Tell us a little bit about what that has been like for you.
Very emotional, yeah. I mean, I think when I saw Caitriona that day, we just broke down. There's a satisfaction, there's a pride, but on that actual day, I felt it deeply in my core, yeah.
It's really hard to talk about it because I feel also that Seven Part 2 is so strong, and there's so much for the fans and everyone to look forward to as a fan myself. And yes, I think we're having this prolonged separation with everyone, with our characters. As Maril said, we were saying goodbye so many times throughout the year, so it was extremely emotional in a very strange roller coaster of emotions, But honestly, I feel like it's going to be harder for you guys because there's a longer time period. But for us, I think we'll always be part of this community, a part of this fandom. So in some ways, it will never end.
Looking back on your time with Outlander for all of you, is there any particular scene or episode or even just a moment amongst the group of you that sort of stands out as, something that I'm sure all of it you'll carry with you forever, but sort of one particular moment that stands out that you feel you'll take with you whatever you do next?
Well, for me, it was season 1, episode 4, because I got to be in it.
Did you not have a line?
I did, yeah. Yeah, no, they gave me a line because they said, if you're just a dress extra, you have to stand in one spot for 3 days, and the novelty wears off. But if we give you a line, you can be an actor, and then you can go after you've done it. So that's what we did.
We should have all cottoned onto that earlier, shouldn't we? I'm going to say my line and leave.
I feel if anyone can change their lines, it would be you.
Well, I was very carefully coached by the wonderful dialect coach, Carol Ann, and so I could say it in a proper Scottish accent. So, they did multiple takes, and evidently that was satisfactory. I went to dinner that night with my daughter and her husband, who is Scottish, and she said, say your line for Ian, Mom. And so I said it, and he looked at me in surprise, and he said, that's actually good.
What was the line? Can you remember?
I see you've made the place bright as a new pin.
That's impressive.
We had and I think Richard, sorry to say, I don't think you were there, but we were shooting something, and remember we were all on the beach. JB, Soph.
Are you talking about South Africa?
We went for a swim.
Wait. Oh, Caitriona.
That's
Yes.
special. I forgot about that.
You were there too.
Yeah.
Wait,
and do you not
what?
remember?
That was a very special night. It was a long day of filming.
Oh, God, yeah.
And we had a little
Where
bottle
was
of
that?
something.
Was that
Berwick.
St. Andrews or
Berwick.
Berwick?
Yeah,
Berwick.
we were staying on this hotel by the beach, and we kind of went down. It was quite late at night, wasn't it? We set up a little picnic blanket. We popped a prosecco, and there was a full moon. And JV was like, "Should we go for a swim?"
Naked.
And we did.
We
Naked.
did a skinny dip, yeah.
And on the way to the sea, I remember I was just running, and I just face planted on the floor, and I was like,
So what was that, Caitriona? I think you said there was 2 full moons
"Yeah."
on the beach that night.
I think
Where
it
were
was
you
more than that.
during all of this, Richard?
I was there, I just wasn't there. I think I found out about it after. I went for a run by myself. Where we were in South Queensferry or something? No, North
It was
Berwick.
Berwick,
Yeah.
yes.
And then you're like, oh my God, we had the best time at the beach. We cracked open a bottle. JB got naked and went in the water. There was a fucking herd of whales out in the distance. A pod of whales.
And the dolphins.
Dolphins.
Yeah.
There was a magical
Dolphins, yeah.
unicorn kind of went over the moon. Where were you? And I was like, I didn't know about this. I was just running into town.
Did you happen to see the full moon when you were?
I missed the full moon, although I did see sort of the light coming from somewhere. Turns out it was your arse.
It's a great bottom.
Something to look forward to, a moment that I remember, and speaking of, you were talking about directors here, in the new season, we had a new director, and I got to do a great scene with JB here, and our director was very, very generous and guided us through it, and it was just honestly really fantastic to see Caitriona in her element and working with the crew and the actors. No moons, though, no moons.
And it was such an honor, honestly, to direct each one of these people. They were so amazing. Like, it's one thing to be in a scene with them and you're like, these people are amazing, but then to like sit on the other side and watch it, I was like, yes, it's incredible.
I can add another encomium to that. My husband and I had stopped by the set during one of the episodes that Caitriona was directing, and we're watching both the actors and the little camera in the video tent. And my husband is always interested in this to a point. But anyway, as we were leaving, he said, Caitriona must be really good at what she does. She went and talked to them, and they got better.
The sign of a good director. For each of you, this has been such a huge part of your lives, but also, of course, your schedules for quite a time now. I'm curious, what are each of you looking forward to most in the next era beyond Outlander?
That would be telling. I mean, look, all the sleep, of course, and travel. But I think, the show has been our lives. It's literally taken over and been a quarter of our lives and half of JB's life. And it's been an incredible journey. And I even coming to Comic-Con, which is always such joy for us to come here. It's so fun to share it with you guys, honestly. And even coming this time, there's this bittersweet feeling of, this schedule of shooting and then going and promoting and doing press is going to come to an end. And yeah, there's a part of me that will obviously miss all of this craziness, but hopefully also we're excited for what's going to happen in the future.
Yeah, I think, we've been so privileged with this show, but it does take a little bit of a sacrifice of your time with your family and your friends. And I think, I'm looking forward to spending a little bit more time with my family, but also I'm so excited to, see what the future holds for me and for all of these other guys. It's an exciting time. Hopefully.
The musical.
Have you heard us sing?
Anyone else? You guys want to go?
Joe, you want a musical with just me? Yeah, I'm not sure if that's going to work. It's quite a bittersweet thing to think about moving on from Outlander, but yeah, I mean, same, just having a bit more. It takes up a lot of our year, and as blessed as we were to have it each, coming year, and everything that provides, the security that provides, and being with these guys over the years, it'll be nice to have that time to do other things, do our own projects, self-betterment, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, as they said, we're very lucky to have had this show for so long, but to even go 8 seasons, thanks to you guys, is tremendously unusual, and I think we're lucky that we're leaving on a high. Like Sam said, 7 Part 2 is amazing, 8's amazing, new director, and yeah, it's much better to end on a high and give you guys the good stuff than keep it going. So we're sad, but we're excited to move on, and the characters can live forever with you guys.
And there's still a book to read.
Exactly.
We're waiting.
In due time.
Yeah, the same as these guys are saying, but I also think, this show has built such a legacy that will continue on. I think we're going to be talking about this for a while, so, and revisiting it. So, yeah, whatever's next, what will be, will be. But right now, I'm just so happy to be here.
As some of you might have seen on Outlander's Instagram page, we put out a call for fan questions to address during this panel. So I've selected a few standouts, and I'm going to read from those here. So to begin, for Caitriona, about the episode that you directed, did the cast step up to the plate, or did Sam give you a hard time?
Actually, nobody gave me a hard time. I was much like I was sort of bracing myself for getting a lot of slack, but everyone was amazing. Like my first day was Sam and Richard, and you guys were so amazing and so generous and really, like, you know, it's a nerve-wracking thing to stand in front of the crew and to sort of take on this new role and to also like come up to these guys. You know, I know them so well as co-stars, and to sort of go up and be like, hey, could you maybe try this or try that? But it was just, honestly, it was such an incredible experience. And Maril has always said, like, one of her favorite parts is like prep, and that was also so brilliant. Like, it was just so much fun. But yeah, I have favorites. Sophie, my second day.
Wait, you got favorites?
No, I mean like that scene with you guys. Then Sophie, my second day, or my directing was like 5 of the women, and it was just such a cool day to direct 5 women all in one scene, and it was just such a like cool day of sisterhood. And then JB and Sam have one of my favorite scenes as well on a balcony, which was so beautiful. So it was just so much fun.
Just a note on that day as well, like extra credit to you, because it was also, as you guys know, Scotland is its own character on this show, and it probably gave you the worst time because you did all the prep you could, and then I think it was supposed to be really sunny that day, right? And we were outside.
No, it was going to be Scottish weather, so it was going to be what was going to be.
No, but you planned for like the sun coming through the trees and stuff, and then I swear it ended up being like rain.
I mean, there was snow, there was rain, there was sunshine.
Yeah, so you still smashed it. So I think Scotland probably gave you the hardest time.
Well, you also had to contend with Sam's carpentry skills.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
how is your wood
Question.
cutting?
Can we be honest with you? I mean, we're giving away a thing here, but we do a bit of carpentry together, Jamie and Roger. We were given the opportunity to rehearse and to show the director what we could do, but
We thought, no, wait, what? We don't need
we could chop wood.
rehearsal.
And then proceeded to
How did that go?
balls it up. You know, took a while.
Okay, so this is for the whole cast. If you could go back in time and choose to play any character other than the one you played, who would it be?
I always say blackjack to this question. I think that would be super fun. Maybe that's really messed up of me, but I think that would be fun. Blackjack.
You have no idea you're talking to Blackjack Randall, do you?
Scary.
Myrta.
Oh, good.
Oh, cute.
Dougal Mackenzie. Let's give him a go.
Galis Duncan.
Hello, Galis.
Hello.
There's so many great characters, and I'm trying to think of one in a recent. But actually, John Gray, and I think it's not. He's such an interesting character, and I think David Berry, who deserves, all the accolades. He's such a great, methodical, intellectual actor. So yeah, John Gray.
Okay, Sam, this one's for you. What is your favorite hair era of Jamie's?
Oh, there have been a few. Pretty happy where he is now. Yes, I'll let Maril answer this one. But look, we went through a process, and it's such a huge part of his character, and certainly a huge part of the books. So, that's his identity in some ways. But let's look beyond the wig, shall we? And I'm glad, actually, in some ways, that the wig has now been hung up.
Caitriona, this one's for you. Is it more challenging being in front of or behind the camera? And do you have any advice for future women directors?
I mean, it was more challenging for me behind because it was a new experience. I think the advice, I mean, I'm still such a novice, but just do it, because why not? We need more.
Maril, is there any chance that the Outlander studios in Scotland would be opened up to tours? So many fans would love to see the sets and costumes before they go to other shows or for sale.
We do talk about this, and it's obviously up to Sony. It's not my stuff, but we'd love to do it eventually. I mean, we are putting Blood in My Blood in there right now, so it is occupied. But in the future, I would love that. I mean, we've talked about this before. It's such an amazing experience to see our sets and what we've built out, certainly from the beginning, where it was like an old cell phone factory. And every time we bring someone to do a tour from Sony Stars, they're so bowled over that I think it would be a shame if we were not able to open this up at some point to show everyone.
One of the key parts of it is this disabled toilet that became my secret place where I would go to. Season 1, if I needed a moment to hide and lock everyone away, I would go there. And it's so strange going there now after 11 years and just closing the door and taking a moment and silently screaming. But no one knows about it, but this was my secret place. So you can all go and do a tour there and visit the disabled toilet.
I have
you just
so
made
many
this up?
questions.
I feel like this is too much info.
I was
Way
gonna,
too much info.
you can take over the Q&A if you'd
If
like.
you do
I
the
have
tour,
questions
you
too.
will find out.
Where is it?
Do the tour and you'll find out.
Did you bring anything in? I mean, is there a TV mounted? A couple of newspapers,
There's
magazines?
actually still bits of blood from season 1 in there.
All right,
It's fake blood.
let's move
guys.
on.
It's fake.
I'm going to do a couple more of these, and then we're going to open it up to an audience Q&A. For the cast, the whole cast, if you could choose the next acting job for one of your co-stars, what would it be?
Sorry, we were chatting.
Sorry,
Were you chatting about the toilet?
If you could choose the next acting job for one of your co-stars, what would it be? Any co-stars?
I think Dickie here would make a very great, fine actor. We were talking about it yesterday.
Are you talking about Richard Burton?
Wouldn't he make a great Richard Burton?
Yeah.
We think stars. You should do a biopic
This has
of
just
Richard
come
Burton.
to Sam like yesterday. And I'm starting to believe him.
I'm taking percentage on this. I'm taking producer's credit. I'm part of this.
I would be honored.
I think
So-
Sam should do
Sophie
a
says,
biopic
"Who's
of
Richard
Orville and
Burton?"
Dean. I don't know why, I just thought you should be ice skating.
Okay. I like it.
I think everyone here would buy tickets, to be fair. Okay, last one, and then we'll open it up for the Q&A. What is one characteristic about your character that you will carry with you forever?
Can I pick 2?
Yes, you can have 2.
Sharp wit.
And good looks.
I was going to go with good looks, but it's too obvious. So, intelligence. It's fierce intelligence.
You know about your character.
Oh, it's my character. Oh, sorry. Okay, stubbornness and obnoxiousness then.
His resilience and his bravery, for sure.
I think loyalty and strength.
I would like to develop or have the love for family and community that Jamie has.
And I would like to acquire Claire's great skill in knowing when to shut up.
I don't think Claire's achieved that yet.
No, she doesn't
You
know. No.
Okay, any audience Q&A questions? Go right ahead.
Let's go.
Hi. Oh, well, that is loud. My cousin is getting married in Scotland next year. We've already booked our tickets and everything. We're doing a tour of the Highlands and an Outlander filming tour that leaves from Edinburgh. We will have some free time in St. Andrews, and I heard you mention that you did some filming in St. Andrews. Any hidden gems, any places that we need to go to during that free time?
Oh, good question.
We might have
Well,
been
obviously
biasing-
the old golf course is very famous. It's the home of golf, so you have to go there.
Yeah. Don't remember the golfing scene there.
I don't think we filmed at St. Andrews.
Yeah.
We might have filmed in
We
an
stayed
area.
there.
But you stayed there, but we didn't film there.
We filmed the
Around.
end of season 5 there in the 60s house.
Oh, we
Oh,
did.
right.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
To the 60s house, I guess.
And there's a little village called Anstruther nearby. It does great fish and chips.
I'll make a note of it. Thank you.
Go ahead.
This question's for Diana and Sam. I saw in an interview that you had told Sam how you intend to end the series to influence his ability to act throughout the TV show. And I was just curious if that played a role in how season 8 ended, despite it not being the end of season 10. But
Well, let's put it this way. Book 10 has a very much more complicated end than the show will, which doesn't require a lot of extra acting from him.
She tried to keep things very simple for me. Yeah. And I think she said along the lines of "Don't fuck it up."
Hi, I'm Becca. I'm from Virginia. I have a question. It's for everybody. In season 4, and I think it's episode 3, Brianna and Roger traveled to North Carolina to the Highland Games. My husband and I, for the first time, traveled to the Grandfather Mountain Highland Games just this past July. It was amazing. And it was just fantastic. I was wondering, have any of y'all ever been there? And if you have not, is it somewhere that you possibly might want to go to in the future, since it was referenced into the, into the series in season 4?
I've been there 3 times. It's worth going if it's not raining.
We had it was beautiful weather all 4 days. It was fantastic.
I went before we started shooting to Asheville, to Blowing Rock. Went to Grandfather Mountain, and I saw nothing because it was so foggy. You couldn't see anything, but it was really cool. And I think Charles has since been a number of times. I think Duncan and Greg.
Matt Roberts has been. Does that count?
Yeah.
I haven't, but I'd love to.
I haven't, and don't want to.
You won't see anything.
That's all right.
Maybe season 8 we should go to North Carolina
Rewrite
for
the
a little
ending, shall we?
premiere.
JB?
Are there like Highland Games there?
I'm sorry?
Oh,
Are
nice.
there, yeah, there are games.
Yeah, I'd be down for that. Some Kaylee
Yeah.
dancing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
They have the caber toss, everything. It was fantastic.
You're going to
watch.
toss what?
The caber toss.
Oh, the caber
The caber
toss.
toss,
Yeah,
yeah.
fun. Yeah,
Yeah,
hell
that was
yeah.
my favorite.
I'm down.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Christina from Massachusetts, and I just have a question for anyone who wants to answer it. While filming, was there any scenes in particular that you remember that maybe you improv'd or went off book and it actually made it into the final episodes?
Anything with Rolo, I always thought was very improvised. Mostly which direction he was going to go. Yeah, anything with the dog. But we do love Rolo.
I'm mostly not good at sticking strictly to the script. I deviate quite often, and thankfully Margaret, our script supervisor, likes me enough to just let me get away with it.
She's so polite, Margaret, as well. She'll be like, "Did you mean to say this?" And just sort of point at the script. I'm like, "Oh, thank you."
She'll also give you one note because she knows you can't really take on board more than one because we are not very clever. And she'll just come up after the second take and then give you the other bit that you missed out. And so over time, you get the whole thing generally.
Hello. Oh, everyone. There's a lot of people. My name's Hannah. I'm from Michigan. I was wondering. Yeah, Michigan. I was wondering, for anyone who's comfortable answering, over this experience, is there something you've learned that has nothing to do with acting, press, like any of this experience that you really value that you learned?
Yes, I learned how hard it is to go to the bathroom in an 18th century costume.
Well, not when you've got your own disabled toilet, apparently.
Yeah, you should use it. It's quite special.
I mean, I think we're very lucky on this show that we learned so many random skills. I'm not sure how useful all of them are, but I mean, I used to go fishing a lot as a kid, but I've never had to gut one. And I think Brianna had to gut a fish, I think with you, maybe season 5 or something.
Yeah.
And I just remember getting to set and it smelled so bad, and they had about 50 ice buckets of fish, and I just spent half the morning just gutting fish. So if anyone needs a barbecue, I gotcha.
Yeah. Oh, it's the most random thing you had to learn. I had to butcher a deer, and so I went to a butcher's and they made me butcher like 3 sheep. I'm really sorry about that. It wasn't fun, but it's weird.
I gutted some fish as well.
Oh, a lot of gutting of animals, yeah.
Beautiful, thank you.
You, Richard?
Thanks.
Do you gut anything?
I haven't got anything, no. I was never presented an opportunity to got anything, and now I feel a little left out.
It's the same time we went to the beach.
This is a pattern.
That's where all the fishing was going on. Makes sense at the beach.
Hello. First, I want to say thank you so much, all of you, for taking your time, your energy, your effort to make something that is so deeply loved. It's such a beautiful gift that you've given us.
Thank you.
Thank you. And my question is for Sam and Caitriona. I was hoping that you might have a favorite scene over the years that just pops right into your head that you filmed, so that when we go back and watch, we can see that and know, oh, they really loved that.
Well, I mean, I think for me it's the waltz or the dance to the Stones when Jamie's sending Claire back. It's very beautiful.
Yeah, I think we talked about it last night, and it was an iconic moment. It's an iconic location, Kinlochranach, where the Standing Stones are. It's always been magical throughout every season whenever we've been there, and that time was kind of the beginning of that, but that whole scene was so beautiful with the dusting of snow on the mountaintops of Schiehallion, which all then turned to mud later on, but it was yeah, very, very special.
But it is that place where no matter any time we shoot there, if it's the wind or the sunlight, it just always seems to conspire perfectly with what we're shooting, and it's very magical, that place.
I remember one time there, actually, the full moon was so beautiful that it looked fake, so they actually had to blot out the real moon and put a fake light in to make it look like the moon. And another time a stone snapped in half, and that was when I was so naive. I was like, they're not real?
That's an ill omen.
So windy.
It's actually a very, very magical place for the Scots. That mountain is the Schiehallion. It was supposed to be a fairy mountain, or the mountain of the Scots. Was the translation of it. And they also used the mountain to measure the density of the earth. I don't know how you do that, but there you go.
It's very simple.
Yeah. Useless facts for you.
Thank you.
Hi.
I can tell you more about the mountain if you want. Right?
Hi, my name's Alyssa from Illinois. First of all, Outlander was mine and my boyfriend's like COVID pandemic show. So we watched all of that during COVID. And then I got my best friend hooked on it, and she read all the books in like a month. So I wish she was here. But my question is mainly because I think it was on Sophie's Instagram. Y'all were dancing to Taylor Swift last night. My question is, hopefully some of you know Taylor Swift songs. If you could pick one Taylor Swift song to represent your character, what would it be?
This is a Sophie and JB question.
This is our department, Soph.
Who's Taylor Swift? Sorry? Oh gosh, to represent your character. Oh shoot. Okay, well in season 7, part 2, I feel like it would be Look What You Made Me Do.
Nice.
Maril, as the secret other Taylor Swift fan, do you have a song that would represent
I don't
your
know if it
character?
represents me, but I will say that was one of my favorite nights of
That was iconic.
yes, our whole series. But I love that one song that's 10 minutes long that I've just blanked the name on.
All Too
All Too Well. I mean that. I think we cried during that song. I'm not embarrassed to say I wasn't the only one. So.
I think for young Ian, it's I knew you were trouble when you walked in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have time for just a couple more. Go ahead.
To piggyback on that one, I did make you guys friendship bracelets, and I handed them to somebody backstage, so hopefully you get them. But my question is, did you have a favorite piece of a costume or accessory that you just loved or like helped you get more into character?
Yeah, I mean, for Jamie, it's the kilt. It was always the kilt. You know, I think it's identifies who he is. And in season 1, we found out obviously that it's not just a piece of clothing; it's a piece of equipment. It's to keep him warm. It's to give him camouflage. And we just obviously finished shooting season 8, and our amazing costume designer on season 8, Nadine, gifted me Jamie's kilt. So I have it. I have it at home. I don't have it at home.
No,
Maril,
we all wanted you to have it.
Thank you so much.
I think Claire's had so many costumes over the years, but no costume would be a Claire costume without some pockets. So pockets make Claire.
Roger had a couple of cool coats the last sort of season and a half. Might steal one of them. Do you realise, Maril, how much stuff's already been stolen?
I feel like you guys don't think we know when things go missing. But some of that we engineer ourselves, so. We send things home to you that you might not want or you might want.
Oh yeah. Did you not get a gift recently?
I did. I got a wonderful gift from Maril and Matt. It was a beautiful bench.
There was a particular bench that Caitriona didn't love as much as the rest because it wasn't very comfortable. And we might have sent it to her house after.
Okay, here. In my defense, Claire Fraser has always had really, really impeccable taste in furniture. It's always been beautiful. It's always been comfortable. She marries the two very well, and this just did not stand up to it. So
It kept appearing on set. Gina would come on and get them to get rid of it. So this poor bench got banished.
I came home on our last day of rap, and the bench was sitting in my yard.
Is it still there?
We're not going to discuss where the bench
She
is.
sent it back again.
But it will follow her whole life.
Hi, I'm Holly. I'm from Ohio. Thank you also for getting me through the pandemic in 2020. Changed my life forever. Been to Scotland already, so thank you. My question, in every episode, somebody's pouring a wee dram at some point. I've always wanted to know, is it really whiskey that you're drinking in the glass, or is it something else?
They wish it was whiskey.
Do you get drunk at work?
Do you get drunk at work
That
is
was
the
the
real
question.
question here. Have you ever been drunk at work, Richard?
I have, yes.
Good.
Yeah, I've been drunk a couple times.
We may all at some point have sampled something at some point.
I mean, maybe once or twice.
But no.
But we would never.
We would never
do that. We're very responsible
We would
people.
never do that.
It's
It's
not so
always
much
coloured
drunk,
water.
it's more character accuracy. I think, because if they're like, drinking in the scene or they should be a little bit tipsy, then you should join them.
We all do feel, though, that there's one person who drinks the most in the show. One character. We all felt that she had a bit of a...
Claire does. She quite
She
likes her
loves it.
whiskey. She quite does.
glass of wine. And she's not a very good cook either, but that's another story.
We do have quite a rep, though, for the amount of panels we go to, and they're like, oh, there's no drinks allowed on stage. And then they'll see the Outlander cast and like, no, they're the exception. Give them a whiskey before they go on.
Speaking of,
I know.
Sadly, that is all we have time for right now.
One more.
Go ahead.
Speaking of a wee dram, I was coming up here just to say, first of all, thank you guys so much for being here. I love this show. My wife and I watch it. We've watched it more than once. But I just want to say, this is for Sam, not so much a question, but I love your whiskey. The Sassenach is awesome. Thank you.
Just one more quick one.
Thank you all so much for your coming. Please, everyone, tune in for Outlander Season 7, Part 2 in November. We're very excited. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you so
A round
much.
of applause for
Thank you
that.
guys. We love you.
Thank you.